Hello friends, in this video I want to basically share how to deal with guilt and how to basically overcome this. It's the basic, it's really a sickness of human mind and human spirit. But it's not something that you should feel as a bad thing or and judge it. The main trouble with this thing is people when they experience this guilt. It can be any kind of guilt. It covers up all. It deals with everything. We judge it. Okay, we say, okay, we are basically dealing with this kind of uh, agitation and a sense of doom and gloom and a feeling of shame and guilt. Basically, they go sometimes hand in hand. So, well, it's really important that you first stop judging it, right, for what it is. Even judging it as a labeling it as a word, guilt. It's not going to fix it. Okay, it's not something that you can make out in a form of a mind, because these are really real energy frequencies, right? And it's okay to think in terms of thought, the word like guilt, but to really overcome this kind of thing and to really regain of your homeostasis, basically you have to understand that this is the fuel, basically. It's like because nothing happened without any reason. Everything has a purpose. Okay, everything serves a purpose, and I personally feels that the darkness that we experience is basically a fuel so that the light can shine up through it. It's basically it's a kind of like a transmutation process, because even in quantum physics, there's like uh, the the concept that where thing and shifts their state, and basically it's like I don't know how to say this, but it's more like the let me think about it. Let me think about it, how to explain it. It's like when you see in the space, there's darkness, right? But there are lights and stars shining through it, and without that darkness you cannot really see a star, right? If in the daylight you cannot see a star in the sky. You are not even aware that there's a star right there, beautiful star. People will usually wait for the night, for the darkness to see the light. So during the night, the darkness, it reveals itself, and it's still there. Even in the daytime, the darkness is still outside, but you cannot experience it. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right? But that darkness is transmuted in the daylight. um, but in the night it just shows its true nature. But at that point, that darkness is again transmuted through the stars, shining through it. So they are kind of like entangled, right? That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So they cannot be any good without bad. They cannot be any bad without good. They are both intertwined. It's like two sides of the coin, head and tail, basically. So our job on this planet is basically to transmute that darkness into light. And to do that, we really need to uh, understand that how this transmutation works, right? And if you ask any spiritual teacher, they basically tells that their way of perception is totally different. They even if they have a little bit of guilt, it transmuted instantly, because they always see the universe through their heart, not through their mind. And I personally feel that the guilt is a result of egoic egoic mindset, basically. Because if you see a child has no guilt, you know. If he even commit terrible thing, even if he slaps someone, or if he uh, pee on someone else's t-shirt, you know, or say something terrible, you know, like crazy, even slang words to someone, people laugh at them, right? And because the child has no judgment, he doesn't give any judgment to what he's doing. He's just pure divine consciousness, and that's the reason people always are attracted towards kids. But as we grow up, the problem is that people started judging us, right? And that's when shit happened. You know, when a child did something terrible, we say, oh, please forgive him, he's just a child. And they don't even judge him for what he did. But when an adult uh, experienced or did something terrible, we are being made uh, guilty of the crime. You know, it started pretty early, in early age, as I don't know, as small as 4 or 5 years old. Once you hit that age, you know, we are being programmed by this stuff of guilt and shame and shit like that, that we really kind of limit our own potential by these kind of toxic, you know, toxic egoic prison that we all human beings are familiar to create, right? So how to deal with this guilt? Well, just deal with this the way a child, you know, see through it. He doesn't judge anything. So don't judge it. Don't judge it. Now the question comes, if you don't judge it, then what to do with the feeling? Because this feeling is like a programmed virus. Let's call it a virus. You know, it's really a virus. Sorry for my profanity, but that's true. You know, it's really like a virus, and this virus is like a living entity. Okay, let's call it guilt entity, a frequency of energy that is living through you, you being the host, and it's living because of your egoic mind. Okay, let me be very clear. It's not something that you just caught a virus in, like you know, it's like, I don't know, couple of days. It's not something like that. It's been living for years and decades of some people, depending on their experience with their life, you know. So as we grew up, we actually stumble upon so many experiences, and we keep on building up this guilt, and it started living like an entity. And people who are really blessed actually know how to shake off this darkness within them by by not judging it, you know, by just accepting the way it is. It is what it is. So first of all, stop creating further guilt in your life, all right? Stop judging things, because when you stop judging, you have put a brake on this car that you have been driving, the guilt car, okay? But the problem is that it has a momentum, right? Because you have been conditioning it, so you have a limit. You stopped feeding more guilt, creating more guilt, but you have been carrying this, I don't know how, this baggage for such a long time, and it's still there. Okay, you just stopped creating more baggage when you stop judging. But what to do with the previous guilt that you have been accumulated? Because it's an energy, like I said, you know, it's a, because you know, everything is frequency, energy. So how do we deal with the karmic, let's call it karmic guilt, that we have been uh, creating for years, right? Well, for that we have to transmute it. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, simple. We just feel it. Okay, you have to feel it fully. If you want to cry, cry, but don't dare or even try to bring this, into your condition. Don't even judge yourself why you are crying. Do whatever you want to do. If people think you are going crazy, it's okay. Some people play music. Some people, they just start shouting. Do whatever you want. Shout. Fight if you want to fight. Do any behavior to shake off this energy, to basically transmute it, to basically purge it, detoxify it out from your system. And the only way you can do this is by non-judgmental state. Okay? And fully, and point number 2, fully. So the point 1 is you stop judging it, and point number 2, you feel it fully. You feel it in a form of pain. Maybe you feel it in a form of stomach pain, or you feel it in a form of a certain kind of discomfort. Maybe you feel shortness of breath. You feel it, okay, but you don't judge it. So when you started feeling it, all this guilt, okay, all this guilt started converting. It started transmuting into what? It started transmuting into peace, into joy, into bliss, wisdom, enlightenment, into light, into godly, divine frequency. So you're basically like now this reminds me of an electrical concept where we have a mixer. So we inject a low frequency signal and we multiply that with a mixer. Basically a mixer is something that up the frequency. So we multiply it with a particular frequency, and once you multiply it with it, we up the frequency of the receiving the end signal. Okay, that's our job here. So we are basically working as a mixer, amping up the low vibrational frequency of guilt through our power of non-judgmental state and feeling it fully, so that we transmute this frequency from low, okay, to high. And when this process happens, okay, this requires what? Energy. And where does this energy comes from? It comes from the universe. You don't have to do anything. God is pretty much strong enough to do this transmutation process, but you have to initiate it, okay? You have to light the spark and let the universe do its all magic. Okay, guys? So I believe you understand the point, how to do it. You feel it fully without judging it as long as possible. If you have to see it right through it for days, weeks, months, years, I don't care. Every time you feel a guilt coming through you, don't judge it. Go to a quiet room, okay? And then start doing body scan. Feel it, where you are feeling this guilt. Maybe you feel it as a pittish feeling in your stomach, or maybe you feel it as a back pain. Stay present with it. Bring your attention to that point where you feel the guilt. Maybe you feel it in your head, you feel the headache, or maybe you feel your heart is palpitating. Stay present with it. Don't scare, just see it. Just stay, okay, like this. Okay, for example, let me show it to you. I think I have a couple of minutes. Let's say I'm having a guilt, For example, I have a guilt, I fight with someone, okay? I have a guilt about it. You don't think about the fight. You feel the tension of that fight. Maybe you're not bringing your brain, okay? Okay, I fight, okay. Now you don't think about the fight at all. So what do you care about? You care about what? The discomfort. Maybe your heart is beating, then you bring your attention there. And it's possible that you might be having some thoughts, right? So you also see those thoughts without judging those thoughts as well. All right? Okay, I fight. Okay, cool. Am I a bad person? I'm a good person? I don't know. Maybe I'm a bad person. Who knows? Maybe I'm a good person. Who knows? Maybe what I fight for or what I did was wrong. Maybe what I did was not wrong. Maybe what I did was good. Maybe what I did was bad. Who knows? That's it. That's it. And you feel a discomfort. Maybe you're having a back pain. Maybe you feel a stiffness of leg. You just stay present with it. Maybe you feel a little bit tight neck and you see, okay, interesting. Maybe you have difficulty breathing. Maybe you feel like a kind of shallow breathing. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Don't force it. Don't force yourself to just start thinking positive or maybe doing some yoga or deep breathing. No, 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 no. Don't do nothing. Just see your body what it's doing right now. Okay, maybe your body is hyperventilating. Wow. And if you feel like crying, cry, but don't judge it. Wow, I'm crying. See, you have to let the process happen. Okay, guys, I hope this video helps. Just let me know. And until then, see you. Have a nice day. Keep rocking. Bye bye.